I'm live. I hope you can hear me. I've never streamed on YouTube before, and I just started this channel, and I'm really nervous and scared to come forward, but I need to. I mean, I've come forward in little ways, but I guess making a live stream like I never have before is kind of nerve-wracking. Anyway, I just woke up this morning feeling like it was now or never, and that I should just wing it and hope for the best. Now, I know no one is watching because I have no I I don't have any subscribers. I just started this channel. But I at least need to put this out in an unedited format live to at least open the discussion. Yeah, I guess you see from my title that Bryan Kohberger is a disguise. And I know that's nothing that anyone has heard before, but it certainly explains why all the secrecy. I'm the tip that Moscow police used to locate Bryan Kohberger. And I didn't have any idea when I was submitting my tip to the tip hotline in Moscow that David was I'm talking about my ex-boyfriend, David. I had no idea that he was donning any kind of disguise. I just knew when I saw what happened in Idaho, it was David. Who is David? He is someone I went out with back in 1994. In 1994, he was at my absentee boyfriend. He was out running around with his partner in crime, Michael, and it was like I didn't have a boyfriend. And in that absence, I met a guy named Ron Goldman and his friend George, and we got to know each other. And one thing led to another, and I ended up married to Ron Goldman on the eve of the murders in 1994, which was June 11th, 1994. And then the next morning, it's very complicated. I don't want to really spend time explaining that particular case. But let's just say I got married by accident. I didn't know I was actually marrying Ron for real. And in the morning, when I awoke, I agreed to get engaged to him, not understanding that we had actually gotten married the night before. And I called my then so-called absentee boyfriend, David Wayne Craig, and left him a voicemail because I didn't have a choice. What was I to do? I couldn't go forward and do anything until I broke up with David, that was what I felt at the time, and left him a very detailed, lengthy voicemail message. And what do you know? He responded by showing up to my door after I had been DRUGGED. I'm trying to be careful because I know YouTube algorithm. You can't speak your story here on YouTube, can you, without being penalized? I mean, it's my life story. It's my self-identity, and I can't be myself here on YouTube because the algorithm will punish me and not promote my story if I speak certain words or Okay, so you got that word, GRUGGED, with date RDUGS. Okay, I was out unconscious. Well, unconscious. My eyes were wide open. I witnessed everything. Didn't remember it right away. It took me like almost a decade to remember anything. And Um, so he showed up to my door, saw my condition, understood that Ron had put me in that condition. It's a long story that is a separate case that I won't get into right now. And he and his partner in crime, Michael Lafferman is his full name. Um, he said, "Come on, Michael, let's get him. Look at Claire. Look what he did to Claire. Let's get him." And he understood from my roommate, whose name is Sophia, that he worked in Brentwood as a waiter, and they had no idea what restaurant. She didn't know, and the first one they walked in was the Mezzaluna. It was a when you went to downtown Brentwood, it was the one restaurant that stood out. So, yeah, they picked the right one, and the rest is history. It's very sad. And I blocked it out for almost a decade. That's how I coped with my trauma. Anyway, getting back to this case, when Idaho happened, Idaho 4, I knew exactly who it was. It was the work of David. David has been stalking me. We broke up. I broke up with him in 2003 and removed him from my life. And he had a major stroke in June of 2009, and I reconnected with him in person and reconnected with him. I figured, if somebody has a major stroke, maybe he's a new man, afterwards. But, yeah, I ended up getting married to someone here in Augusta, Georgia, and losing touch with him because, he didn't really change. He was the same guy he always was. And um he's been, he's always, since I removed him from my life in 2003, he's been stalking me all over the world. He's committed crimes everywhere. He's a serial killer. Okay. Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson. He didn't actually, it was Michael who killed Nicole Brown Simpson, um, nearly decapitating her. But yeah, he took on Ron. It was David that killed Ron, and that wasn't his first murder. He's actually originally, the way his career started as the copycat Zodiac killer in San Francisco in the early 70s as a 20-year-old. He's born in 1954. So he is 69 years old at this point. Um, Brian, they have evidence of this. DNA was left at the crime scene in 1994, and unknown DNA. And of course, my DNA was found in Nicole's hair. So that's the DNA source that they had to go on when I gave them the tip. Um, all they needed was some unknown DNA, my DNA, because I am related to David. I am his genetic daughter. And, it's a long story. I mean, I didn't know that when I went out with him. He didn't know it either. We didn't grow up in the same family. And apparently my DNA is so multifaceted and diverse that there is no issue with, you know, inbreeding deformities or anything. So just so you're aware. But anyway, he is 69 years old at this point, turning 70 on February 11th next year. So this is a disguise. I know it's just so shocking to even imagine this, but he's like a professional criminal. He's been at this like more than half his life, and he's well connected. He's got security clearance, and what he did was he took over. He killed Brian, and he took over his identity. This happens a lot. I know it's shocking to the general public, but this is what the CIA does all the time. And this is my issue with the CIA. Okay. They steal people's money. I don't know why Bryan was targeted. I really don't, but apparently he's in some lineage, some top secret lineage. This is all top secret information, okay? I am declassifying it as I speak this. He's part of some special top secret lineage that David wanted to take control of. And of course, he never got to live the life he dreamed of living. And I guess it was a special opportunity to get to relive life as a 20 something. Well, actually, if he killed him in high school, he was a teenager starting his life again. And it would be understandable that he would be like the perfect student. I mean, if he's back, gosh, I don't know what year Bryan was in high school, but if you just think about it, David was born in 1954 and Bryan was born in 1994. He would have been a fetus at the time of the murders in 1994. He wasn't born until November, I believe. Hey David, I'm live streaming, so please don't interrupt. Thank you. Okay. The camera is on me, but okay, don't worry. He's not decent, but that's my husband Dean. I'm married to Dean Wayne Boyd today in Augusta, Georgia. Yeah, 10 times. Yes, he's putting out 10 fingers. We got married 10 times. Anyway, so what are you doing, Dean? Dean always finds a way to become part of my live streams and videos. All right, so Bryan Kohberger is a disguise. And I actually have put together some examples. I want to show you what David looks like in real life. I mean, I don't have very many photos because I used to have an additional photo on my laptop, and I don't know, some FBI, David, somebody hacked me and stole it off my laptop because I had it on my laptop for years on my other drive. And I do have a mini version of it that I sent to Kim Goldman, but and I have a mini version of it, but I won't show it today because it's not really important and somebody doesn't want that to be publicized. I don't know why. But I'll show you the two, and the only photos I have are mini versions. I mean, obviously he didn't want me, or somebody didn't want me to have huge, beautiful versions of them. So I'll show you what I have, and you need to like put it next to the pictures of Bryan. Okay. So I don't know if, oh yeah, I don't know how to show my screen. Let me see. I've never done this before. How do you show your screen? Okay. Oh, gosh. You know what? I don't even know how to show my screen. What is this thing? What is this? Share. Okay. Maybe I can do, no. Okay. I could share that with my Facebook community, but I'm not going to do that right now because I'm not very familiar. I don't know how to share my screen. What is this? Pop out dashboard, send feedback. What is this? Manage? No, it's not available. Oh, this is terrible. I was really hoping to be able to share my screen. Oh, this is terrible. This is the whole point, to be able to show you side by side. I guess I have to make a video about it or just end the stream to research. I just didn't research it. I thought it would just be apparent. Yeah, I don't see anything here to help me share my screen. Oh, that's such a disappointment. Well, I can make a video about it, but I just wanted to live stream this. It's remarkable, the resemblance. And as he starts, when he started putting on a suit in court, that's when it really becomes apparent how much he looks like David. I mean, he's a blonde, blue-eyed guy, but his eyes, Bryan has those are David's eyes. Even, the dimensions of his face is similar. I mean, David doesn't have as big a nose or anything. Very similar lips. His ears are low. Brian's are lower than David's. I noticed that disguises tend to have low set ears. That's like the mark. If you want to spot a disguise, look at where their ears are. If they're too low, like lower than is standard or normal, it might be a disguise, because I noticed that was the first thing I noticed when I saw Bryan Kohberger, was how low his ears were and how they looked strange to me. Since we've been so exposed to him, I've gotten kind of used to it. I'm sure everyone has, but his ears, they aren't at the right angle. I mean, have you ever noticed he's got like really strange set ears, or they just look awkward somehow, and they like stick out I don't know, they don't really, they just are at a strange angle, and that would be because David's real ears are underneath and pushing them out at a strange I guess they have to set them lower for it to be flat or something. I really don't know how it works. And you noticed how early on when he was in court, he had like some incident with a razor. I believe he drew that on. I believe that was fake. I believe that was makeup. Like he had some red marker or something that he used. I guess he's trying really hard to convince me. Maybe David knows, or maybe he thinks maybe someone out there might know it's a disguise, and he's trying to make it look like it's real skin. I noticed in his most recent appearance in court, or one of the most recent appearances in court, he had a little like mole right here, a new like purple mole. I don't know what that is. I don't know how you would fake that. I don't know. David is very, he's a professional, and he's very methodical. He's very detailed, meticulous, totally OCD. I mean, everything that Bryan is David. The but I'm sure a lot of people have wondered at 28 years old how Bryan could be so, you know, so good at slash. I mean, it's horrible what happened. I'm not trying to make light of it, but I mean, how could somebody, their first try, just walk into a house and in 9 minutes, kill four innocent people like that and just walk out? I mean, that's a professional, guys. I mean, come on. Nobody just does that their first try. Yeah, and everybody talks about how sloppy he was. Believe me, it was intentional. He David has gotten away with this for his whole life. He's 69 years old now, and it's kind of like he enjoys playing with law enforcement. I know he planted that knife sheath, put a little touch DNA on there just, to play with law enforcement. He didn't dream, wearing a disguise kind of prevents any hairs of yours falling out of your head. I don't know what kind of hair he has on his head, but it's not David's hair. It's not, the same DNA. I don't know what it is, if it's plastic or if it's somebody else's human DNA. I don't know if it's real hair or what. But have you noticed his hair hasn't really grown? I did notice that it seemed like maybe he had tried to pull it out of that scalp, that fake mask scalp a little bit. It seemed like he had really tried to pull it out, so it was at its longest, and it seemed like he flattened his hair with some kind of conditioner or something,
hair tool.
some kind of hair tool, like David says. I mean, Dean says, I'm on the subject of David. And yeah, so he was trying to flatten his hair when he first was made an appearance after us not seeing him since, like, I don't know, January or something. And it made his hair appear slightly longer. But don't you think that his hair would have grown a lot more by now? And you notice how his hair never changes? And that's because it doesn't grow. I'm sure he made sure he had some kind of recording out there from some hairstylist who styled his hair. I'm sure she styled what hair was on his head, but you know, it's never grown since then. Um, you know, um, yeah, I did notice his he had some, it seemed like he had put some red, he had made his arms appear red where the handcuffs were at the very beginning, when we first when he was first you know, going to court after being taken into custody. And he's very meticulous. He thinks of everything. Um um, just like Bryan Kohberger is known to do. And he never, in his real life as David, he never he got his bachelor's at UCLA. So he already had a bachelor's when he went to DeSalle's University, but he didn't study criminal science. And I know that's an obsession of David's because of what he specializes in. And he never got to study and achieve any other degrees beyond a bachelor's. So I know he was very excited to be in a PhD program. That was probably one of his dreams. But it does seem like he since his stroke in 2009, he is a little different. And it's very possible he's not able to. I know I noticed he was different, and I liked him better. But as time went on, it seemed like he was more and more like his old self. But I haven't been around him to really know if he's able to uh, monitor his behavior as well as he once was able to. And it's possible that, he has issues he didn't used to have. He was able to camouflage those issues. He kept a distance from people. He was a loner, and everybody had this perception of him, which was the opposite of what he really was. Nobody who knows David Craig would ever dream, um, they would never dream that he would ever have this side of him. They would never dream he would do anything bad to anyone. He's in real life, he's always been an insurance agent. He's a Nichiren Buddhist who's been a member of the SGI since 1975 at age 20. Um, all the young and old men and women of the SGI are in love with him, and he's charming. Um, they would never dream that he would ever commit or such a heinous crime, much less be a serial killer. And here I am telling you, Bryan Kohberger is David Wayne Craig, age 69, a the most notorious serial killer who ever lived. I'm sure that's what he wants to be known as. Um, my father was the Zodiac killer. He and I didn't remember it, and he certainly didn't know it when we started going out. Um, that is the Zodiac killer was his mentor, his hero, you know, his icon, he was so inspired by the Zodiac killer at the beginning. And of course, he's very much, I think he very much related to Ted Bundy as well. And he actually resembles Ted Bundy, a blonde version. I used to remark to him about that before I ever knew he was any kind of serial killer himself. Oh, you look like him. You're like a blonde, good looking version of Ted Bundy. That's what David is. and you can see the resemblance between Ted Bundy and Bryan Kohberger. Just make him blonde and a little better looking, and that's what David looks like, you know. And I will get together the photos. I wish I could have shared my screen here. I'm so disappointed that I don't know how to share my screen. You would think there would be a screen sharing feature here on YouTube. I guess you have to have some kind of software to be able to do that, and that's why people use software instead of YouTube. I just, it used to be that you couldn't live stream on YouTube directly, and this is my first time trying it out, and I mean, it seems so simple and great. I just wish I could share my screen with you so you could see David side by side with Bryan and see for yourself. And I'll have to just make a video, okay, and research how to share my screen and get the proper software, live streaming software, so I can do that next time. Anyway, thank you very much. That's pretty much what I wanted to do, is just tell everybody live that Bryan Kohberger is a disguise, and this is all top secret, okay? He has a security clearance. His true identity is David Wayne Craig. David killed him in high school and took over his identity, I guess due to his special lineage. I don't know why. I mean, it doesn't seem like Bryan's family had very much money, because David's all about money. It must be top secret money, associated with the lineage that Bryan is part of. And of course, David never got to achieve certain things in his own life. And I guess it's he really enjoys reliving a life, and redoing it and trying to achieve a PhD. But that didn't work out very well, did it? All right. Thank you for listening, watching, and you will be seeing more of me. This was something I had to just do quickly, before I chickened out. I don't know. To be honest, I know Jules of All Trades is always talking about how we in the true crime community, we want receipts. And, the problem here is that when something is top secret, classified, somebody else has the receipts, and I don't have them in my own hand. I'm under my own control to be able to share them. But I do believe that the police, the FBI in particular, have been waiting for me to come forward and do this, because there's no way they can declassify me. I don't know when I mean, I was supposed to be declassified, I don't know, so many times. They changed the date so many times. There's a lot of money at stake, and there are a lot of people who do not want me declassified. But it has to happen this year, because next year is an election year. It was supposed to, the end all time period was supposed to be 30 years. But 30 years is next year, 2024, okay? And it's an election year. It can't, it's off for next year. And believe me, I have waited so long. The FBI does not want me, there's no way I'll be pushed to 31 years. No way. So it's this year, 29 years, okay? 29 years, and it's happening right now. Today is July 9th. I didn't like that this is the day I woke up having to do this, because it's somebody's birthday, and I didn't want to commemorate that birthday, but it was the day. When I woke up today, I could feel this was the day that I was going to live stream this truth to you, this top secret classified truth, okay? And I have to come forward before the trial. It'll be too late when we go to trial. There's no gag. The gag order does not apply to me. I'm not in the case, but I am a tip. And I wonder if Bryan Kohberger and his team, Ann Taylor, etc., know about me. I mean, I know Dean. I'm getting everybody mixed up. I know David, and I'm talking about Bryan when I say David. I know David knows all about me. I know he understands what's happening here. I don't know what he wants to transpire. I don't know what he thinks is going to transpire. Um, but he knows that I mean, it was like finding a needle in a haystack to locate Bryan Kohberger. I mean, there were so many white Elantras. David had a white Elantra, and I believe the police came out with the year that David's white Elantra was. Okay, back in the day. That's Elizabeth. She has a cough. I'm going to have to give her some cough syrup if she keeps coughing like that. Yeah, that was the year of David's Elantra, as far as I know. Now, he told me he had just bought a brand new, it was a white, whatever it was. And I don't remember the name of the car. Okay. I honestly don't, but it was the year, the year that they initially came out with. And that's what I believe, that's why they came out with that year instead of the year that Bryan Kohberger's white Elantra is. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just opening this up, and we will continue this conversation, this subject matter as we go forward. I just want to open it up. That is what is going on in this case. It's not that the police don't know what they're doing. It's that they are not permitted to declassify top secret information. It's top secret information. I mean, it's so crazy that it's top secret. It shouldn't be top secret, okay? It was because some idiot in NSA decided to label me a threat to national security in 1975 when I was a 9-year-old girl, that I am classified, okay? And all the things related to me are classified, okay? It's so convenient for all the criminals who are stealing my money and all that. But the people who want to protect me and care about me, they use those criminals to protect me. And it was for my protection. But it can't go on any longer. I mean, David cannot get off on, he can't be found not, he can't be, he's in custody, okay? And thank goodness, the world is safer because he's in custody, okay? And he cannot be released into society again. He can't, okay? He has to be exposed. We have to know who he is. I don't believe in the death penalty, but I do know he's probably going to be done away with by the death penalty, and I understand that. I don't believe in the death penalty. I think he should just be separated from society. I don't think humans can possibly know what God knows. It's only God who can take life away, in my opinion. But yes, I know he's guilty. And if anyone, yeah, I mean, I know that he would deserve that. So, but yeah, I'm just wanted to put it out there that I don't believe in the death penalty. But yes, he cannot be allowed to kill or commit crimes or harass or stalk, or he has done so much damage for so long, and he's gotten away with it for so long, and he's just very smart. When you meet him, he's not anything like you would ever expect a criminal to be. He loves that. He gets off on that. And that's why he was sloppy. He was intentionally sloppy. He didn't have to be. He's meticulous. He decided to be, because it's like, oh, we're in Moscow, Idaho, little town, USA. Look at what Los Angeles did. All right, we'll give Moscow, Idaho a little touch DNA on the sheath, and I'll leave that for them. If they can get that, okay, we'll give it to them. They deserve to take me in, but they won't. Ha ha ha. This is David. He's just playing with law enforcement. It was intentional, believe me.
Fair.
All right, I don't want to hear it.
Every day.
My husband always has Dean. I gotta get all these D's right.
Yeah, just like honest.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is top secret. Yeah. I'm sure there are satellites that see everything and know everything, and it's all top secret. There's no mysteries. There's no, it's all top secret, and it's like the people who have this information, they know exactly what has gone down, and but it's top secret, and it shouldn't be. I mean, the the criminals should be taken in and held accountable, and victims should never be victimized. Any, there shouldn't, it shouldn't be the way it is, and um it needs to stop. So I guess that's a natural ending point. We're gonna stop now, and I will see you again soon. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, whoever you are. Thank you. All right, now how do I do this? Ah! Stop. Stop. How do I stop? I don't know. End stream. Okay.